Hi, I'm Gary with Gary's Wine and Marketplace, here with Genevieve, the winemaker from Napa Valley, Robert Mondavi Winery. How long have you been at Mondavi Winery?
Many years, around 22, 24 years.
That is an unbelievable Napa Valley accent. Did you get that from living in Napa Valley?
Not exactly, from birth in France. Hard to get rid of the terroir.
Terroir. I love talking. I'm swirling your glass to get it ready for you. So we're tasting today through the 2007 vintage. We're tasting Robert Mondavi Napa Valley 2007 Cabernet Sauvignon, the Oakville 07 Cabernet Sauvignon, and the Reserve. While I start to taste, why don't you tell me a little bit about the vintage, and if you want to tell me about the Napa, and then we could talk about the others.
Sure. The vintage was a very interesting vintage. We had the beginning of a drought. We had a rain during the winter, but then after that the spring was warm and no rain at all. So the result is a lighter crop, small berries, small clusters, and a lot of intensity in the wine. So overall it was a very good vintage, and as always in September and October we get the fog from the ocean, so the harvest is always pretty good.
But when you said lighter berries, it's not a smaller berries, but it was a big vintage. I mean, it's
a big vintage, and it's smaller berries and smaller clusters.
And it's one of the vintages that I found that across the board produced a lot of great wines, and some pretty good quantity. You know, it was.
We really do it on the lighter side.
This wine is unbelievable, and that's what we were talking about it before. This was one of our hits in November and December for under $20. I don't know how you do it. It is a great bottle of wine. I'm going to move on to the Oakville, and then let's talk about the world famous Tokalon, Vineyard, because there's been a lot of talk about there was a lawsuit, there was a lot of things going on, but when I think of Tokalon, I think of Robert Mondavi Winery.
Yes, Mr. Mondavi found Tokalon, and he knew since he has been in Napa Valley that Tokalon was a great vineyard. So when he established his winery in 1966, he decided that he wanted the best vineyard for his best wine. So that was Tokalon. He purchased Tokalon through the years. And now we are using Tokalon for our three offerings, for the Napa Valley, Oakville, and Reserve. And Napa Valley has around 40% of Tokalon, Oakville around 91%, and Reserve 93%.
I had no idea. I didn't know any Tokalon went into.
Yes.
And if you think some people that are buying Tokalon fruit, those wines are $100 to $200 a bottle easily. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, and you feel it in the wine. It's a big structure, big bold wine, and solid, and that's Tokalon. And you have always a little bit of minerality at the end, and that's Tokalon.
It's fun. I'm getting darker fruit here, a little bit bigger in the nose. And maybe what we should have done, but we're not going back, is poured all three out and tasted them side by side. But I got to tell you, the nose here has amped it up a bit. It's got a lot of richness.
And it's always the fruit is blackberry, black olives, wild berries, very small, intense, and very broad. And that's very important for that wine. For Oakville, silky tannin, soft. Wow. So pretty balanced and big.
This is big. I mean,
this is big.
I'm stunned at the fact that there's so much of the same fruit source, because this is now amped it up more. Are you putting more new wood here? Is that what I'm getting? Because I'm getting it's chewier, it's richer, it's a little bit sweeter.
You have 10% of new French oak, 60% of new French oak, and 100% French oak.
Okay, so we have two main factors. So with Tokalon, you ramp it up, and the use of new French wood gets ramped up.
And this is different vineyards. So Tokalon is 300 acres, so we pick and choose depending on what we are looking for.
Yeah, I was told before, because we don't carry this wine. I'm just being, truth in advertising. This is a great bottle of wine. This has got great richness, and I'm still tasting it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to taste it one more time. You like? You did a good job. You should keep doing this.
I love it. It's one of my favorite wines. It's Oakville, Cabernet Sauvignon. It's a beautiful wine.
Wow.
And aged very well. Extremely well.
How long?
I will say maybe 10 years less than the reserve. So I will say the reserve almost 40 years. I will say 25 years.
40 years?
Oh yeah, I'm testing 1966 just right now with Mr. Mondavi, and this is still delicious.
Did you bring it?
No, I forgot.
I thought I was lucky. I had it in 1999
Yes.
twice over the holidays. And I got to tell you, I was very impressed. It's silky. You've lost some of that big oakiness, but the tannins are so supple now in the 99. I thought it was drinking beautiful. And this is the 2007 reserve, which is 100% Tokalon.
Yes.
I wanted to let you know I was...
Not 100%, 93%.
93%.
And the rest is from Oakville.
I was trying to prove I was listening, and I wasn't. I was
see.
never good in school. 100% new wood.
Yes.
There you go. I knew there was
And you want to know the blend? We have 7% of Cabernet Franc, 3% of Petit Verdot, and the balance in Cabernet Sauvignon.
I didn't ask the blend, but I'll take it anyway.
Yeah. Well,
It's funny. The nose is a little bit more muted, I think, than the Oakville. But you do I get some sweet fruit in the nose, but it's definitely not, this to me was a little bit more massive almost in the nose. This is a little sexier. And so tell me about it while I'm tasting so that we're talking.
It's a very, all the blocks that we are selecting in this wine are always almost the same. They have a very big pedigree since Mr. Mondavi has done his reserve, and they come back, and it's very, very, you have the finesse and the elegance and the complexity and the length. The length is so important in a great wine, and it's completely lengthy. So this is a wine to age.
This comes across bigger in the nose, but this has the roundness and finesse and sweetness. I get a core, a little bit more sweet, and maybe that's from the new wood or not.
And old vineyards too.
But I got to tell you, it is delicious. So I'm coming to Napa in 2 weeks. Will I get to taste the 66, or do I have to taste like the 69 or something like that?
We'll try a 66, and I'd like to share with you.
Oh, you got it. I'm Gary from Gary's Wine and Marketplace saying cheers to Robert Mondavi Winery.